Alright, we've got a few people in here with us now, so I guess I said the wrong word a while ago, which I've got full service where I'm sitting, and it said not able to connect. So, um, right. um, there's going to be a few things that I'm going to talk about in this little video. Um, I know things that I say come off provocative. It's not me intentionally being provocative, but if you take it the wrong way, I do apologize ahead of time. The only thing that I try to do is speak truth, and that is it on my Facebook page. That is the only thing that my main focus is to wake people up. So, with that being said, let's get down to business. There's going to be three subjects that I'm going to talk about. One is the gun ban that they're yelling for. Mr. Clinton, how are you tonight? Long time no see. Um, Number two will be the American flag. Number three will be the Constitution. So I hope you've got plenty of time to watch this thing. If not, you can always come back and cover it, get it. So the first one we're going to go over is this gun ban that they're pushing for. Let me make this clear. If you know any liberals out there, please share this to them right now because this is really going to piss them off. Um, Everybody's screaming that Trump is the reason why this mass shooting occurred. First off, it's been proven already that these yahoos that says that their children were killed in this mass shooting in Florida are crisis actors. That's already a proven fact. Okay. Now the gun ban. Let's just go on to the gun ban. Straight into it. Now that we've established that it's a false flag, they're yelling for the gun ban. Here's what happens. You come in, you try to take people's guns. Okay? Well, at least I've lost some people's ears, so apparently I've pissed somebody off already. Um, so you've got the people pushing for this gun ban. They're going to try to take our guns. Here's the problem to that. Let's go back in history a little bit. Let's go to World War II. Okay? What Hitler did. He took the guns from the people. He took their rights from them. Okay. Then they issued the identification cards, the papers for you could travel back and forth, this and that and that and this. And look at what happened. A genocide happened. Then you turn around to these other countries. You've got China, the communist China. They took their guns from them. They took their rights from them. There were millions of people killed. Let's go to Russia. Let's go through history here, shall we? I mean, Zimbabwe. Same thing happened there. There were over 10 million people slaughtered and executed due to the fact that they gave up their rights. Okay? For me, I'm not going to give up my rights for nobody. Period. I will not do that. So all these people pushing for the gun ban, let's just make this very clear. You push for the gun rights to be taken away. That gives our president more power to do what he wants to do. That's going to give more power to the president because that's one less right that we have. So if you want a communist country, you go right on ahead. Keep pushing that gun ban. You're going to see a lot of people that's going to get pissed off. You're going to see a civil war right here in the United States. You keep pushing for it. But that's up on you. That's your own personal agenda. That's the only thing that you're worried about is gun rights. Let me make this very clear. You can put a gun in the middle of the floor. In fact, let me do this right here, right now. Okay? I'm going to put my so-called assault weapon. That's what it's called. That's what everybody calls it. Here, I'm going to pull this thing out of here, and I'm going to set it in the middle of the floor. You won't like this one. Alright, in fact, here, I'm going to do this even. Here, let's turn this thing around. Okay, I'm going to put a loaded magazine in this thing. I got to put a round in it. Pull a round out first. it is loaded. Okay, there it is, right there on the floor. Okay, just so you know, I'm gonna set it right there. Now, during this whole conversation, it's gonna be sitting right there on the floor, and I want to see that thing jump up and shoot somebody. Okay, am I taking it a little overboard? Maybe, for some. But for myself, I'm trying to prove a point here. That gun's not going to kill anybody. It's the people that's behind the guns that's going to kill somebody, not the gun itself. So all you stupid liberals out there that's going to be watching this video, and I know there will be a few, you're out of your mind. You are straight off your rocker thinking that this gun's going to shoot somebody while it's sitting right there on the floor. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to the American flag. There are two American flags. Two. Okay, this is something a lot of people don't know. I've done some research on it since last night. It's very interesting. In fact, Todd, are you with me? If you're with me, say something. And Christy, I know you're going to love this one too. I had a friend last night send me a picture of a flag.
Yeah.
I asked him what it was about and what it was, so I researched it today, and I found it very, very interesting. It is the original American flag of the United States. It ain't the flag that we all think it is. It's a total different flag. The flag that we fly now in our front yards, the ones that you see in courtrooms. Hey, what's up, Mr. Ward? How are you? I'm just going to show this to you. I know you joined in late, so I'm going to show you this. We have a assault weapon laying in my floor. Okay, this thing is fully loaded, one in the chamber. I set it there just to prove a point that that gun's not going to move from that spot, or that assault rifle, as they call it, which we both know that it's not an assault rifle. But to the liberals out there, that's what it's called, just because of what it looks like. So anyway, I just had to bring you up to speed here. So anyway, there's two different flags that we have in the United States. Okay, we have our normal military flag that is flown in courtrooms with a gold fringe, the one that we fly in our front yards, the whole 9 yards. That is our military flag that we fly. It's not the flag that we think that everybody thinks that is our flag. It's not. Okay, it is our war flag. It is the combatant flag. Now, the original flag has not been produced in the United States unless it's special ordered, but it is not mass produced or has been flown in the let's just put it this way, has not been flown in the United States. Now, this is going to start ringing some bells for some people that are watching this because they know this date very, very well. This flag has not been flown in the United States since 1933. This is some of the research that I have found. Now, what happened in 1933? I know two of you know the answer to it, or should know the answer to it. I know one of you do that's watching. Three. If Todd's still watching, he'll know what it is. But yeah, this flag has not been flown in the United States since 1933. Now, it is what they call the peace flag. Instead of the stripes running side to side, they run up and down. There is no blue on this flag except for the stars. That is it. The square is white. You have your red stripes and you have your white stripes. But they go up and down instead of side to side. That's an interesting flag. Now, why do we have that flag? It's called the peace flag, the flag that we should all be flying, not the military combatant flag that we have. It is admiralty, and it's a maritime flag, period. Just the one that you fly in your yard is admiralty and maritime flag. That's what that one is. It's nothing more. The one with the gold fringe is your military flag. It represents your military tribunals when you walk in the court. It's military tribunals. That's all it is. Nothing more. It's a combatant. And we're going to go into the Constitution here now. I hear a lot of people saying, well, I have my constitutional rights, my Constitution, my this, my that, my this, my that. And it's all about the Constitution. You want to have your rights to the Constitution. Let me make something clear. The first 13 amendments of the Constitution applies to a certain group of people. That is it. It does not apply to you. It does not apply to me. It does not apply to anybody watching this video. You may sit there and argue with me, oh yeah, it applies to me. No, it does not. I do apologize, but it does not apply to you for one reason and one reason only. If you're smart enough, you will look this up. Everything that I'm saying in my video is true, so you can dig and search all you want on it, and you can find what you're looking for. If you go to the 14th Amendment, a U.S., and it's all in capital letters, dog Latin, United States citizen. If you are a United States citizen, you do not have any constitutional rights. Not only that, the Constitution applies to government employees. Okay? It does not belong to us. It is rules and statutes and codes that they are to be used by government employees. Wow. How impressive is that? Now, if you are a 14th Amendment citizen, I'm sorry, you may think you have rights, but you have no rights. If the government comes in and says, hey, give me all your guns, yeah, you can sit there and fight. You'll get carried out in a body bag. But you have no rights due to the Constitution because you are a slave. That's what they call you, a slave. You are tangible, movable property. You are a slave. As long as you have a Social Security card, you are a slave. Point blank, point simple. As long as you pay taxes, you are a slave to the system. You are a corporation under the 14th Amendment. Oh, you're down. You're on fire. You are a corporation of the United States. So if you pay taxes, you have a Social Security number, and they take taxes off of your wages, and you pay tags, and you pay taxes on your vehicle, and you pay taxes on your property, and you pay taxes on this, and you pay taxes on that, you are a U.S. corporation citizen. You are a United States corporation employee. So, yeah, the Constitution doesn't apply to you. Point blank, point simple. You are a slave. So this is where you need to come up with an 1850 or below Constitution. There's only 13 amendments to it. That is it. This other Constitution that's out there, oh well. So, anyway, let's take a let's check in on this assault rifle. Let's see if it's moved. Oh, nope. It hadn't moved. It's still in the same spot. Oh my goodness, it must be asleep here. Let's wake this thing up a second, see if it'll wake up. Are you awake? Come on. All right, well, it must be asleep, so we're gonna go back to this. Very good question. How do you not be a slave? Mr. Ward, are you still with me? I'll get to you here in just a second, James. Yeah, I know, Leah, you thought that was funny. Um, if you want to not be a slave, you have to do what they call a status correction. Um, for one, you have to do that. There's a whole list of things that you need to do. This can be something that we can do off Facebook. We can do it in the private, which through messaging, or I give you my phone number, and we can continue the conversation from there. I will not give all this information out to people on live feed. This is a private matter that I will address. So if you're interested, shoot me a private message and I'll be more than glad to talk to you about it. In fact, I got several other people that can talk to you about it as well. Um, so, is there any questions? Yep, you're still with me. Would you like to join in on this little conversation with me here? I'd love to have you on here.
Are they fighting on the tower? Goblin, are you on the tower?
This man's like my brother. We talk. There's not a day that goes by that we don't talk to each other about
What?
anything and everything. I would do anything for this man. Let me know if, well, here, I'll just do this. Here we go.
Oh, I just found a DP.
All right,
I'm coming.
you do that. When you even want to begin to start this process, it's something that you've got to make yourself aware of and know what's going on. I sent you an invite there, Chris.
Bullshit. What the fuck? My gun is like locked up. I can't do nothing.
Oh, there we go. So, anyway, I guess it's not going to do on me. Let's try this one more time.
I'm about dead.
Okay.
Bullshit.
All right. So while we're waiting on him, let's take another look here. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Let's turn this thing around here a second. We're going to do a double check, make sure this thing hadn't moved on us. We don't want this thing
Yeah.
going live, do we, Chris? All right. Oh, there it is.
No, it looks good, brother.
Does it look like it's moved?
No, I don't know how he got up that fast.
All right. All right. I know you sent me some information and I don't have it, and I wish I would have wrote it down before I ever started this live feed. But you sent me something about the gun bans and the gun control stuff. Can you
Yeah,
elaborate on
so
that for
one of
me
the
just a
channels that
little
I
bit?
follow, I'd have to look it up again. He talks about Trump is actually pushing forward right now with, he's actually doing the bump stock. What he's trying to do is he's trying to entice the left to keep them at bay so we can still keep our guns. So, and that whole video was about stop using Gmail, stop using Google, start using Proton Mail, which is a private email source, start using DuckDuckGo. They're watching everything we do, and so they understand what we're doing. But basically, Trump did a concession to control the leftists to keep them at bay
So,
until he can get this mess under order better.
right. Um, now, I know that you had some run-in uh,
We're gonna go back to Chris.
with some different flags here the last couple days. Do you want to elaborate on those little flags that you ran into? Or I know I'm sorry I'm putting you on the
fine.
spot. I
Are
don't
you
mean to
talking
be.
about the private man, blue, purple, blue, and then the civil flag, the peace flag?
Over the town?
Oh well, yeah. Well, it's the peace flag, the civil flag. But no, what I was asking about is
Oh,
the
yeah.
flag that
So,
you
yeah,
happen to
today
see in a
it's in
courtroom.
a criminal slash civil case in a local court. Walk in, sit in behind the pews, and look up and cannot believe it, but there's a true American flag hanging, no gold fringe, and no eagle on top at war. And of course, I had to share the picture with Jeremy. I was like, Jeremy, look at this. This is the first
Right.
true Article 3 court flag I've seen anywhere.
Now, if you don't know what an Article 3 court is, it is a common law court. A lot of your courts that are ran out there are the ones that you walk into and you see the American flag with the gold fringe and the eagle on top is what they call an Article 1 court. The Article 1 is your military tribunal ran
With their
courts
power,
with the
executive
Admiralty
branch,
and
not
the
the judicial.
Maritime. Uh,
Oh yeah. So there's some new information out on the web right now that actually shows you how to file. Now, most of these corporations that we're dealing with, these cops and judges and lawyers, right now they're actually working underneath. They're supposed to be underneath the political subdivision based on our laws to give them judicial power, but they're all being run underneath a governmental unit. So everybody needs to do an EIN search or a letter of, it's a letter of determination from the IRS. From what I hear, you won't get the letter of determination, but there are certain files I can share with you that you turn them in, and there's actually a reward that the IRS puts out for these governmental units because they're not working within their own powers. You can basically fine them, tax them, and shut them down.
right.
And it's all over some of the trust pages
Right.
right now.
Uh,
I think it's challenging all the ones around us and see if
Okay.
they're actually legal, and if they're not, turn them in. You know, it clearly states against any
Yeah.
enemy, foreign or
That's
domestic.
what I'm gonna start doing.
You know, you use the laws in place and enforce them.
Right. Right. Now, we talked about this, and it's kind of funny that you just brought that up. I wasn't going to say nothing about it, but
Okay.
since you brought it up, we're going to go ahead and open up that door. We talked about this last night
Yeah.
when we had our nice little conversation that we had about the
Yes.
Libra codes. Now,
Oh, yeah.
now you know about the Libra codes. That is under. They are actually acting under the Libra codes, which is Executive Order 100. That's what it is. You know, the Libra codes is just another fancy word for it. But the Executive Order 100, you can go back and search this thing. There's 157 articles. We spent 6 hours going over this thing
Yes,
at
it
one
was quite a
point.
while.
Did we not? We run batteries down and we had them on the charger for 6 hours. So, yeah, I know about that one very well. But in the Libra codes or the executive order, it talks about martial law. Now, this Libra code was issued out in 1861 during Lincoln's reign or him being president.
Oh, man.
These police departments are running under what they call
Oh, it's fine.
the
I
Lieber
got one.
codes of martial law.
I got one. I need ammo though.
That is the reason why they are where they are. What you was just talking about. They are an extension of the government. Correct me if I'm wrong on this though. Um, they are an extension of the government which has issued
Yes.
the martial law back in 1861. Now, okay. So people say we're not under martial law, we're not this, we're not that. Yes, we have been under martial law since 1861. The only difference is this is a soft form of martial law. Let me just break this down real good here. Okay, there are two or three different types of martial law. There's economical martial law. There is a civil martial law. And then there is a martial law to where it's only applies to certain things. You know, so you have your three different types of martial law. We are not under the martial law that when somebody pops in this and starts watching this video, they're not going to sit there and say, okay, this is oh, he's saying we're under martial law, blah, 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 blah. No, we're not under full-blown martial law.
No,
We
this is
have not
considered
been.
a soft martial law because it's an economic commerce control law
Yes.
that they're using.
Right. Now,
That's what we
James just asked, and this is a man that I'm going to hook up with, and I'm going to get him to hook up with you as well on this, because
He's
between the
talking
both
about
of
the
us,
family
we can
courts. He's talking
educate
about the
this man
probate
very, very
courts.
well. Yeah, the probate courts, and you know about that more than I do. Um, I'll get him signed up in your direction on that if you want to, take this one on. They're just as corrupt as any other court. Now, here's another little thing, and a lot of people do not know this unless they're awake and they're up to where we're at in our education level and the research that we've done. We have spent hours upon hours upon hours upon hours a week. I've spent up to at least a good 20 hours doing research.
Yeah.
Everything okay over on your end? Okay. I'm getting a lot of static on your end right now. Um, but we have done a lot of study and a lot of hours is tied up in this. I know Chris spends a good 12 hours a day studying. I study for at least 2, 3, 4 hours a night upon working a 10 or 12-hour shift at work 6 days a week. There's a lot of things that you would have to understand when you step into these type of things. You can't just walk in there saying, "Oh yeah, blah 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 blah." You've got to be able to stand in your square. So when you are challenged, while you are challenging the courts, you're going to know what you need to say and what you don't need to say. So there's a lot of research that goes into this. Um, a lot of it. If you don't have the time to research, I mean, try to make some type of time for it. That's the only thing I can tell you. I've been researching this stuff for 4 or 5 years now. But you're now another thing that we had talked about was the Constitution.
Wow. Now I'm getting the static you were getting earlier. I think it's just connection.
Right. I think that's what it is too. I've dropped down to 2 bars. So let's take another. I know I'm pushing this issue, but I'm trying to make a good point here. Okay. So let's check back in.
Nope,
over
hasn't
here.
grown legs yet.
Nope,
Still
it
doing
hadn't
good.
moved. So,
went down.
right. So I mean, it's
I'm on the other side now.
the And I'm making, and people know that's watching this video knows that guns not going to grow legs and go shoot somebody. We know that. But you've got these leftists or your liberals out here thinking that these things actually hurt people. It's the people operating them or that is behind them that does the damage. You know, right? Yeah, straight and true there. I agree with you. But yeah, this is one of those type things that I want to be able to get this stuff out there. We're getting static coming in, so if you hear a little static, please be patient with us. We're just technical difficulties. Oh, let's check in. No, I don't think it moved. No, it's still there. Yep, it ain't moving. All right. So, if you want to uh, know more about this stuff, James, shoot me a message. In fact, I've got some present for you.
No, not unless you want to expound on some different subjects or I don't know, something into the flags.
Well, we can. I mean, it don't bother me. You know me and you, we can sit here and talk for
I'll be
hours. This
honest with
thing
you,
can
I'm ready to
last
see
4
somebody come
hours
up
if we
with
wanted
a
it to.
constitution, and I've seen it within the feeds in the last couple of years about somebody having one like it was like an 1859 original Constitution with the 13th Amendment, so that people like us can get copies of them, so we can actually make contracts out of them. We can add our signatures, put our flags in the corners, post date them, be the UPU, postmaster, executor, creator of the document. Get it certified by the state and federal, and then go file it in the court system and tell them to shove it in their ass.
Right. I'm with you on that. In fact, here, as soon as I get done with this live feed, we will actually,
We
I'll
understand
start doing some digging
declaration
for
of
you on
status
that.
and all the different
Um,
filings that we've been working on, the rescission of signature, power of attorney, all of these different files that we're doing and working on. We're also adding these with that, and we know that anything that has a value before 1860 goes into original contractual value and gets out of the corporate. So if the document is actually that old, or that we can get our hands on or certified copies of, we can do a lot of damage with them.
yes, we can. Um, I know twice so far, since I've hooked up with you, you've walked in without any of this paperwork being
Yeah.
filed and you've destroyed the courts. And it's all about standing in your square.
Yeah. So I got a whole file here for you. So how to turn the police to the IRS. It's a really good one. You would really enjoy it.
Okay. James, James. Oh, I'm ready for this. So hey, you know me. I'm up for a challenge. So, um, but James just commented. He said the funny thing is, I called a couple of lawyers' offices and asked if my constitutional rights would be enforced in court, and their answer was either I think so or let me get back to you. When they say let me get back to
No,
you, you
James,
never
you're
hear
talking
back
to a
from them, do you?
statutory civil lawyer who knows nothing other than to breathe water, not air. Okay? Because he's part of the sea of commerce. And it's just like contracts and trust law. Oh, there's no such thing as a business trust, or private trust. I'm like, yes, there is. It's just in the common. You can't call these lawyers and get the information. It's called a turn
Right,
on me for a reason. So,
right. Now, when he said breathe water, he's talking about maritime lawyers. That's all these people are. They are foreign entities in the United States operating in our court systems illegally. They are what we call actors. Okay, the judges are actors upon a stage. The lawyers, the prosecutors are actors upon a stage to get you to confess to something that's really isn't really
Evidence of
necessary
proof
for
of damage.
you.
You don't have the
There are
corpus
steps.
delicti. There's no damaged
Go ahead.
property. There's no plaintiff. A state can't be a plaintiff to a case like that. They can't be a damaged party. They're an inanimate object. They're a fiction of their
They
own
they can't be a
imagination.
witness either.
So you need to have these, certain, maxims of the law in place, and those have value in the court system. You have to invoke them. Everything is presumption in the court until otherwise presented, which is why we have
Right.
maxims of positive law, and then we have laws that are not. The Health and Human Services Division, Title 42, is not enacted in positive law. So Southport doesn't actually have any merit, and you can actually rebut the presumption and destroy their notions of what they're trying to enforce on you, because it's civilly statutory corporate dead law. And we were born with a corporation, and we never told how to run it. We were taught how to be a debtor instead of a creditor.
That's right. Yep. They actually took Latin out of schools
64
back
in
in the
Australia,
60s, so we wouldn't
69 in
understand
America.
all of this stuff.
I think it was 64 in Australia and
Say that
69
again.
in America. They pulled out the grammatical values of language, and they
Right.
pulled out Latin.
Because there you go. You are right, James. They are for the courts. They're not for you. They never have been for you. And that is something now you're starting to understand. You understand the concept of the courts and what the lawyers are there for. They're basically there to um, how do we say that? Collect on your bonds, on the performance bonds, and all these bonds that they put on you in court. You're basically entrusting him on these bonds. There's got to be three signatures when you go to court on a court case. There is what they call a performance bond,
Bid
or
bond
what's the
and
other ones,
release
Chris?
bond.
Um, there's a bid bond is another one. There's got to be three signatures. There's got to be the judge, the prosecuting attorney, or your attorney in order for these bonds to be collected on any case. It doesn't matter what case it is that comes to the courts. They're making money off of it, period. So you've got to have that triangle going. Mr. Chuck, long time no see, buddy. How are you? So with those three signatures, they're able to collect this money, and it's underneath the table for them. Boof. It's, it may be it may be $3,000. It's $3,000 split three ways. That's $1,000. They're collecting on you every time you go into court. You've got to be able to stand your ground and stand in your square and say, hey, these bonds are for me. They're not for you. I am doing very well, very well. I know I'm sorry I haven't been able to talk to you lately. I've been really, really busy, but I need to get back with you at some point or another. So we've got to be able to maneuver ourselves through the courts in what we call a non-combatant way, but still stand our square. We've got to challenge these courts, and that's what we try to do. I do know a man that went into court. He challenged them for the bonds. Speeding ticket, in fact, 20 mile an hour over in a construction zone. And he went in, he made a lot of phone calls, challenged the bonds, challenged everything possible, they rescheduled the court case like what 4 or 5 times, and then on the last time he went in, they basically dismissed the charge that they gave him. So the man is very, very intelligent at doing what he done. It's amazing. You
Yeah,
heard that story, didn't you,
this is what
Chris?
we really got to get through to people. You really need to look at these titles and understand what they mean. So, we all know that Social Security is enacted onto the state. That is a part of it, and that's part of the public health and welfare system. So Social Security is in this title, but it is not positive law, and therefore it imposes no obligation upon anyone who does not volunteer to be subject to it. If people will actually look up the titles, in fact, I've got a picture I can send you that'll show you which ones are positive and which ones are not. Everything is presumption. Almost everything in our society. All you have to do is rebut that presumption or an affidavit of truth. You can stop dead in their tracks to where they can't move forward.
Right.
You can lock them up under what we do, the UPU code, mail fraud, extortion, racketeering, RICO Act. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. All the organizations are there.
Title it's Title 18, subsection 1001, 18, 1960, 61F,
241.
242.
There's a bunch of them.
Yep.
And that's just the USC.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the FRCP or the UCC, USC, and then federal rules of civil procedure too. So there's a lot of stuff. We've got to wake up and realize you're holding all the power, but yet they're the ones with the trouble.
Right. Miss Leah, I was going to ask you about that. I'm glad you did that. You haven't heard anything about it, so that's awesome. If you haven't heard nothing back, just basically be quiet about it and just keep on rolling. Um, so if I don't want to be part of the Social Security program, how would one work a job? Just wondering. Well, there is a. I'm loving this one already.
Yes.
You did read that comment, didn't you?
So if I
Yeah.
don't want to be part of
Did
the
you read
USS
James's
program,
comment?
how would one work with a job? Well, you have to quit filing the taxes under the box where it says U.S. citizen, and you have to quit going to your employer and pick up your 1040s because your employer only has one of 3 pages. You're actually missing information and not getting it filled out correctly. You mark it as a non-citizen. You use an EIN. You don't use an SS. They're EINs anyway, or TINs, however you want to see it. You change your status, and they don't send you any federal state tax application, and you don't get applied through your check. There's a lot of ways to do it. Of course, you're plenty aware of this, Jeremy. So I mean, we both have been doing a lot of research on this. So
Yep.
and we know people can do it.
Yes. Chuck. Yeah. Here's a guy. I was talking to him. In fact, I was the one that introduced this guy to the stamp procedure. Nice. I showed this guy here the stamp procedure, and he said he sent a A4V and abided by the UPU stamp procedure, like what you're starting to do now. And of course, I introduced him to it, and he said he sent it to the CFO, Department of Education, after default notice and crickets as well, and haven't shown back up on my credit report either. So, you guys are taking this information. I'm loving it that I've given you guys this information, and you guys are running with it, and I'm seeing that it's being effective for you. Oh yes, it is, and it will get good. The deeper you go, the more information you'll be able to walk and do. Man, you'll be almost untouchable. by the time everything is said and done. Um, the government won't be able to touch you. I've heard of cases where people's had in papers, the FBI, CIA, ATF, DEA has walked up to these people and they've handed these papers to them with the UPU codes or the UPU stamps, and they have handed them their papers back to them that says you have a good day, and turned around and walked off from them. These are stories that I have heard. These are stories that I've not seen in black and white, but I've heard about them. I've heard people talk about it. I've heard them walk into courts, present this paperwork to the judges, and the judges dismiss cases, and their attitudes change completely once they've seen these UPU code or the UPU.
Yep, they're well aware of what wire fraud is.
Yes, yes. Um, Leah, I just do what I can. That's the
So
only
what have
thing
you
that I
been
can do, and I
people as far
appreciate
as
the
what you're talking about as
compliment.
far as challenging? So you've been given like the UCC codes and the USC codes, like the discharge by cancellation, tender of payment practices, abusive debt, rights and liabilities, mispresent of felony, mailing, threatening communications, fraudulent swindles, fraud by wire, radio or television, scheme or artifice to defraud, false claims, things of like that nature. Or then, of course, like I think it's also the
Yes,
FDIC
yes,
6000 Title 6 subsection 908, which is the error resolution, which is actually a really good one to add to your file when you're actually going against these creditors or so-called creditors.
yes, definitely. Just so you know, this is my first live feed that has to deal with this much information in it, just to give you a heads up. I know this is something I've been tossing around and I've been talking to you about, and it's got to be gotten out there. I told you how I felt about this. So, I'm all for it. Yes, we are. We handle and we sort mail every single day. We
Yep.
are our own postmasters. You are very correct. Very correct. That's why we do our UPU stamps. In fact, I want to make a live feed over the procedure of the use of the uh, UPU stamps, so these people would know what to do. Now, let me explain this exactly, Chuck. You hit it on the head. You hit it very well on the head. Let me explain this something to you. When we start going through these procedures and we start talking about this stuff, uh, there's more to it than just what we're saying. We're not going to hand feed you or spoon feed you this stuff. If you want information, we'll be able to give it to you, but it's upon you to take the time and do the research. The only thing we can do is just hand the information to you. That's all we're going to do.
Yeah, there's only a hands-on
Uh,
approach on this.
it's upon you to do the rest of it.
I said there's only a hands-on approach on this.
Do what?
Everybody's got to learn this. It is a lot of heartache. I mean, it's a lot of understanding. Sometimes you
Right.
put in a lot of hours. Sometimes you have to take breaks. Sometimes you have a meltdown. But there's a lot.
Right. Right. Um, I advise if you're a beginner to get you a big bottle of Advil. Do not do ibuprofen, but do Advil. So you're going to need it. And if you was a fly on the wall on some of the conference calls that I do, your head would literally be hurting. Literally, you would be hurting. Um, in fact, our boy just sent me a message. I don't know if he sent it to you. Oh, it's That's about the RV.
That one that Chuck just posted, Postmaster. I thought he meant Postmaster is our estates, and then he put of, but is just as correct.
Y- Yes. Is and of is, yeah. Yep. Yeah, Chuck, I know you've been at this for a while. You've been at it since at least July. So you're
Mm.
getting there.
Which Black's Law book did she pick up? The fourth, fifth, sixth edition? Well, I know was it fourth to the ninth or tenth that you want? Yeah.
Yes, I think it's fourth through the ninth.
All my stuff turned back. I don't understand.
And those are the ones, and you
Oh,
can also
you
download
can
those off
put
of
in Black's Law fourth
PDF.
edition, fifth or sixth.
Uh,
You can download them. Just put PDF behind it. Just come right.
yeah, she's got the sixth edition. Your better one, I have the seventh, eighth, and ninth in
I do
PDF.
me another one to get another good one to get your hands
I have
on. Is
both,
does
all
she have
three
the
of
sixth
those.
edition with pronunciations? I was going to say, does Leah says
What
she
is
has
it?
the sixth edition? Is that with pronunciations?
Yeah, it's the sixth edition with pronunciations, Leah. It's Christy. It's fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth edition. It's just not one particular book. It's all of them. Actually, well, from the fourth up. All right. She's looking right now. Another good book. I know James. I hope you're still with me here, James. Um, but another one is Common Law um, Dictionary. It's they both go hand
Bouvier's
in
too.
hand.
Bouvier's.
Do what?
Like I just bought my
Yes,
I'm on my second
that was another good one.
bought it for
Okay. Yeah. You get, like I said, you can get a lot of this stuff off the internet on PDF, common law. No problem, anytime. Um, like I said, I'm willing to help you guys. Um, but you can get a lot of these editions on PDF offline. Just type it in, Google it. You'll be able to get it offline, no problem. Just download it to your phone or to your computer. Make you a file to put all this stuff in. You'll do a lot of reading in that. I, God Almighty, I've I've done more reading and studying on this stuff than, oh my goodness, my head is hurt from reading it. Uh, Books on secured party creditor too. You can. I've
I
not
have
even looked
files I
into
can share with you,
those.
Jeremy, that you can share with other members.
That's
If people actually, maybe you're
okay.
talking about filing
All
thousands of
right.
pieces of paper, papers, you can do
My
it.
right. My biggest concern right now, and this is where,
That's a good addition. That's what you want.
okay, yep, that's the one. So you do want the sixth edition on in there. My biggest concern right now and focus is getting people out of the matrix. That is the biggest one right now. Let's get them started from step one and get them to understand why they're doing what they're doing and why they're doing it. If they don't understand that part of it, they will never catch the rest of it. Um, you know, I'm going to do some more live feeds, and there'll be Leah. Yes. All right. So this is what you're looking for right here. This has been a debate of mine. I've been tossing it around in my head, and it's just something that I feel like I need to do. And I've talked to several people about it, and they've basically told me go ahead and go with it.
You know, I mean, some of your
Um,
talks need to get into
you know,
even the background, going back into the Dark Ages, back to Babylonian times, the understanding of the Bible. You know, really putting all this together like we have will also be helpful. Not only just the financial and the American history, but also all the way back to so people can really put a grasp on this.
yes, yes. Um, a lot of the knowledge of the Bible has actually helped out in this quite a bit. Um, the Bible is your key
Yeah, it's actually a
to
trust law
breaking
too,
free
but
of the
people don't know
system.
that yet.
It,
Yeah,
yeah, it's part of your trust law. It's your everyday life. There are parables in there that I've broke down. In fact, the conversations, oh my goodness, on the parables and different things like that we've had. I know I've blew several people's minds when I've talked about this stuff. I know at one point in time, um, where I blew Jared's mind on it. Let me explain something to you, Miss Leah. You will never be a bother. Nobody, if you message me, let me make this very clear. If you message me on Messenger, nobody is a bother to me. Nobody that wants help will get turned away. That's just my policy. I know there's people hungry out there. They're like Neo in the Matrix. They're looking, they're searching, they're trying to find something to grasp onto and to to pull themselves out of the Matrix. I am willing to help people do that. If I do not know the answers to it, I will be more than glad to get the answers for you so you will be on your way. And if I cannot get those answers, I know two or three different people that would be probably willing to help out with it. So don't ever feel like you are a bother to me because you're not. Um, in fact, the lengthy conversations me and you have had on Messenger has been wonderful, um, especially about the subrogation. Um, that right there just blows my mind that they haven't responded back to that yet. So, so I guess what we're going to do is we're going to schedule another live feed. Probably better to do it on the weekends when I'm not so tired, wore out, and my mind's able to function correctly. The beginning and the start of where all this began, and then we can go with it from there. Uh,
missing
no
books of the
problem.
Bible,
Uh,
the only true
so,
grammatical value or grammatical
yes,
Bible that we know of in history right now, with true pronunciations and definitions and written in English and Hebrew, is the Jerusalem Bible. I mean, there's a lot of things that we know that people need to know.
yes, 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 yes. Uh, James, I'm going to send you a couple of links um, in Messenger. Um, it's going to get you started, and if it's all right with you, Mr. Ward, I can get him set up in the group, and he can go through there and just hammer
Oh
away
yeah.
at it. Start watching, researching, and digging. Uh, I mean, this guy seems to be hungry for the answers, so we're going to give him, we're going to overload you. Now, don't be overwhelmed that too much, but at first you will be overwhelmed. You'll be like, oh my God, I cannot do this. Stick with it, be patient, contact me anytime, and I will be more than glad to help you through this. There's been several times that I've wanted to just walk away from this, and I've had people like, no, you're not going to walk away from this. We're going to drag you kicking and screaming. So, so they've kept me on that path. If you've got like-minded people that is willing to teach you, show you, direct you, guide you, and feed you information when you're hungry, you will glide along a lot better instead of having to do it on your own. Uh, our rabbit hole started way back in 2007, and it started from there. And I went and dug until I got introduced to um, the group back in July. And as soon as I got in there, I started ripping new ones. Yes, your mind will swell. I don't delete any videos at all. I'm more than glad to let people, uh, go back and take notes and stuff like that. We're going to start getting into this, uh, really start getting into it. This is something that I'm being led to do. So, um, I'll post stuff from time to time on my Facebook about it, and then we'll just go with it from there. Uh, so. Well, if you don't have anything else to say or anybody have any questions, we can call it an end, and everybody gets some rest for the night and not let their head hurt so much, and they can
Yeah, when you're ready to join the
get
group,
ready to
just
do
ask
some
Jeremy and
studying.
he'll get you on the page. And there's enough on our page right now that'll keep you busy for a couple months with the listings of stuff we've got for research that your head's gonna hurt.
Yes. Yeah, your head will hurt. Just make sure you get you a bottle of Advil, great big bottle. Maybe make it two.
Okay, we want
If
to
you
do
have a
this.
Costco nearby, go ahead and go to Costco and get you a big old bottle of Advil because you're going to need it. Um, some of it you're not going to be able to grasp right away. You're going to sit there 2 or 3 days. You're going to be thinking
Okay.
about it. Next thing you know, boom, you're going to wake up one morning and you're
Oh
going to
yeah,
say, "Holy
we need to
crap,
get on a
now I know
rant
what they
about
were
the
talking about."
banks, the currency, the sign, the signature, the grantor, the debtor, the trust creation, the
Oh,
administrator,
yes.
the debtor, the whole 9 yards. And we've got the breakdown on all that. And I'd love to go over that live so people can hear and understand what these words mean when you break them down. To sign your name is to actually create is a sin because it's actually you're writing cursive and you've created a curse against yourself. So you're not autographing correctly. And all like even us now are just learning how to use the UPU code and
Right.
understanding how to quit creating mail fraud ourselves. So, and I'm glad you've got some members on your page that are getting
Right.
into that and understanding what we need to
Right.
do and how to apply it. We can also do some research into the bonding code so people understand that
Yes.
these public officials, they're indebted to you. They tend to forget that we are the master and they are the servant, and you have to let them know that.
Right. Mr. Randall, it's nice seeing you. I hope everything's going well on your end.
Yeah,
Um,
flash hiders for
I
both
hope
of them.
everything's going good for you. But you're right. Um, Learning this stuff is very vital to us. Um, there's going to come a point when you're starting to use all this stuff that you're going to have to take that step from the public to the private. And once you decide to go private, you cannot step back into the public. Um, you cannot, that is one thing that I'm going to stress right now. You cannot mix public with private. You cannot mix private commerce with public commerce. Here, just last month, I walked into a dealership, looked at a brand new pickup, brand new. I called ahead of time. In fact, I told you about this one, Chris. I walked in. I made a phone call, had a set up a meeting to where I could talk to the financial manager ahead of time, so he knew I was coming. I explained to him that I was wanting to speak with him in private. As soon as I got there, he wanted to make this a public display. I refused to bow down to the public side of it. I said I want to do private. We went behind closed doors. We started talking. I told him I was going to do one contract only, and that was going to be a private contract. The man sent me a copy of his contract, and holy crap, we broke that thing down, and it was like, no way. So you've got to be careful in what you do. A lot of these people out there that we're going to be dealing with do not know the difference between public and private. And this is where you're going to have to know your information and educate these people when you
Well,
go
Jeremy, as our
into
good
do
friend
commerce
says,
in the
you need to
private.
start a toolbox. That toolbox is somewhat a half shady kind of filing system in your house, and then also a file in your head. And you're ready to get out of the kiddie pool and wading in the water, and you're
Yep,
ready to come in the deep end with us. Come on out. But you're gonna have to in your square. You gotta have to stand your ground.
that's right.
You cannot fold, cannot buckle. I can do it.
Yep.
You can do it. So can everybody else. The the well, you know as well as I do, the meek will not
Yep.
inherit the earth, or the meek will inherit the earth. So there's
Yep.
yeah,
In
and
fact, we just
sixty-six
talked
percent of
about
these
that tonight
people, or
before we went
70%, we
live.
can't help. We've got to dig through the stack of needles and pick out the best pieces of hay, and those are going to be that slim 30% of people who are awake to this, or at least open-minded enough to look into it. So it's going to take time for these
That's
people.
right.
There's going to be a lot of fakers, a lot of people who
You're
think they
so
can do
right.
this. But if you're scared, if you allow fear to run your life, there is no room for growth, for education, or any type of in-depth learning. You've got to shed the fear.
Nope.
It's make believe. We are souls.
Yep.
We are not bodies. Our souls are endless. We are here just for a small part of time. People have got to come to that.
Yep. They can only
Well,
kill you once.
on your page,
That's an old.
I'm sure the people on your page are
That's an
well
old
aware of the
saying that I.
Stockholm syndrome and what's going on, what's being applied at Sam's, what's being applied at Walmart, other stores, securities, post offices, government buildings, the intimidation, the making up rules, not laws, follow my orders, not law. You know, you got to get above all that.
Yep. You've got to know the difference between codes and statutes. You've got to know the difference between, what they put into play and what
Well,
it's
you will
for,
be nervous, you
too.
will be green, you will make mistakes, you
So,
will stumble, you will fall, but you will get up and you will do better and better and better, and it just gets marvelous. So,
yes. I remember my first time I fell, but I picked myself up and it was a
well,
learning
I got
process for me.
Jeremy since July of last
So,
year. I ain't
and
had no falls. I've had some good times and a lot of fun with these finance companies and these so-called businesses. And law enforcement.
yes, I'm fixing to have some fun with that. I'm fixing to have fun with that. I'm just waiting for that one to keep calling me. I get one call a month from a creditor, and they are bound and determined to just upset me. And every time I get on the phone with them, in fact, you've listened to several different conversations where I've talked to these people, and they have went irate on me. Um, you've heard one conversation where I basically got put on
Oh
a
yeah.
cease and desist list by making a phone
Yeah,
call,
I've done the same thing.
to
When I
these
first started
people.
this, I
So,
was doing it with filings and sending it to them. Now I talk to them for 5 minutes, and the next day, if I call them back again trying to press them for more information, they're like, "Sir, we've got a verbal cease and desist with you. You do not have to contact us anymore." Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for your time.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things that you've got to know what you're doing, man. When you get on the phone with these people, you cannot be afraid to even do anything. Man, I come out with guns blazing and just smoke coming out of my barrel. The second I get on the phone, I'm sent straight. Some of these people have gotten to the point now to where instead of transferring me 3 or 4 times, they transfer me straight to the top, and I give it to them, from there. So it's
Yep,
on how you
resentment,
present yourself,
resentment, being
really.
the king of the conversation, being
If you
stern
can't,
but also very polite. Uh, you know, you don't want to be a dick.
right, you want to be, yeah, like you said, you want to be firm but non-combatant with it. Um, in fact, you heard the conversation where I called that courthouse requesting information from them, and that lady was just bumfuzzled by the fact that I just asked all those questions. She gave me all the answers I was asking for, which she wasn't supposed
Yeah,
to
the
give
first one,
me.
not the second one.
So,
Sir, you
no,
do
that
whatever
second
you
one was
got to
like,
do,
excuse
and we'll
me?
do what we have to do, and lie, just
Yeah,
bold-faced lie to you.
right. We just got to know what we got to do. We just got to know what to do and when to do it. You know, we put them and they put us in a corner every day. They back us into a corner. Why can't we back them into a corner? Why
Yes,
can't we threaten them
so
like they
busy because
threaten
if I'm busy
us?
with them, they're not
But
harassing
our
other Americans, which is how I see it as a duty of mine.
right,
Yep.
doing your job. So,
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna get off of here. James, feel free to message me anytime, and I will get invites sent out to you, you three, and
I'm
we will
down.
get you rolling. So, as always, I'm gonna end
Sounds good,
this. Do
man.
you have anything you got to say, Chris?
I just
All
got
right.
out of one. I'm getting
Well, I
ready to
will
leave.
talk to you tomorrow, and the rest of you, as always, peace, God bless, and have a wonderful evening.